It's very important to understand, and Western policymakers and Western strategists have a difficult time understanding this, that there's limits to what you can do with your military power. We tend to think that having a big stick and threatening people with that big stick or using that big stick allows us to always get our way. Just think about Afghanistan. We lost in Afghanistan. When I was young, we lost in Vietnam, despite the fact that the United States was far more powerful than Vietnam, and the United States is far more powerful than the Taliban in Afghanistan. But the fact is that we lost. There are just limits to what you can do. And there are limits to what the United States can do in the Middle East, even though it is incredibly powerful. And there are limits to what we can do in Ukraine against Russia. And therefore, it is not that we're impotent, because we're not impotent. Again, we are the most powerful state on the planet. But nevertheless, there are limits to what we can do with that power under any circumstances, but certainly in a world where you have two rivals, the Chinese on one hand and the Russians on the other.
How tenuous are things for the West Bank? John, you just talked about the West Bank. So the UAE and other states are saying absolutely no more discussion of annexation. But inside Israel, you know, who knows where that's going? But I'm just interested, as you just said, is the West Bank's lifeline tenuous?
Well, Steve, you already have de facto annexation. What we're talking about here is de jure annexation. And if you look at what the Israelis have been doing in the West Bank since October 7th, it surely is not as horrible as what's happening in Gaza.